All right, real quick, when you think of 80s hair metal, what's the first thing that pops into your head? We'll say it together on 3. 1, 2, 3. Your mom backstage at a Poison concert. I'm sorry, I can't believe I'm starting this episode like that. That was inappropriate. But tell your mom I said hi. Of course, the 80s rock scene was defined by big hair, leather pants, and Kramer guitars. In this episode, we're going to talk about the reissue of one of the most iconic 80s rock machines, the Kramer Jersey Star. I'm Thom Tran, and this is the story behind the strings. Thanks for checking out the show. And before we get started, please remember to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and share it with your friends. We're still trying to get to 5,000 subscribers, and when that happens, I'll be giving one of you a guitar. Details on that later in this episode. What I have here is the Kramer Jersey Star reissue. Full disclosure, this isn't my guitar. I have a friend at Gibson who had one of these kicking around the LA shop, and I asked if I could borrow it for an episode, and he was like, yeah, sure. Also, I'm wearing this tank top in honor of Richie Sambora, who for pretty much most of the 1980s wore only tank tops and leather jackets. As always, let's get started with the specs. The Jersey Star is based on the Richie Sambora Signature guitar released in the mid-1980s through the end of the decade, and they are nearly identical. It's a double cutaway, soft S-style body shape that's officially called the Jersey Star. It's made of alder with a gloss finish. These reissues were available in this alpine white and a pretty sexy candy red, and they have a distinctive mother-of-pearl star logo on the upper horn. And just like the decade that spawned it, when it comes to electronics, too much is never enough. This beast sports 3 humbuckers and a bevy of switches to go with them. You've got a Seymour Duncan JN humbucker in the neck position, a Seymour Duncan JB in the middle and bridge positions, and in addition to the master volume knob and 5-way pickup selector switch, you've got 2 mini switches to coil tap the JBs in the middle and the neck positions. So the array of pickup combos is staggering. You've got a Floyd Rose 1000 series tremolo, an accompanying locking nut, and adjustable truss rod. There are 22 medium jumbo frets on the maple fingerboard and maple neck. And as with most of Richie Sambora's signature guitars, you'll find star inlay fret markers with a double star on the 12th fret, all made of mother of pearl. The neck is an elliptical C shape with a 16-inch fingerboard radius and your pretty standard 25.5-inch scale for Strat style guitars. Kramer headstocks evolved a lot over the years, and this model sports the very 1980s pointy style headstock, painted the same color as the body, and another star logo at the tip of the headstock. It's got die-cast tuners with pearloid buttons. There's an Allen wrench holder and Allen wrenches on the back because, well, Floyd Rose. And finally, the truss rod cover has the letters JS inscribed on it, replacing the RS of the Sambora Signature model. Gibson, through their Kramer brand, started reissuing some of the iconic Kramer models starting in late 2020, including the Jersey Star. So it's not hard to find one of these. They list on Kramer's website for $1,149, but as of this video, they're currently unavailable or on back order through the Gibson or Kramer websites. They are, however, all over third-party online sellers, and if you want a new one, you can get one brand new through some of those usual online sources for that list price. But a quick Google search will bring up some used models for as little as $799. Be aware, however, that there are some Chinese knockoff chambers selling for as little as $300, but don't do that. Let's jump into our time-traveling DeLorean and briefly go back to 1981, which is considered the beginning of the golden era of Kramer guitars. MTV premiered in August of that year, and for most of the decade, 80s hair metal would be all over the channel. And where the hairspray went, so did Kramer guitars. Shortly after guitar god Eddie Van Halen started endorsing these shred machines, you could not swing a groupie around a music store without finding a Kramer guitar. One of the most popular endorsers and signature models to come out of the Neptune, New Jersey factory was also local to the Garden State. Lead guitarist Richie Sambora of Bon Jovi saw a million faces and he rocked them all, mostly using his signature model Kramer guitars for the better part of the decade. But just as the fall of the Berlin Wall signaled an end to the 80s, so too did it bring an end to Kramer Guitars, which filed for bankruptcy in 1989. It was a weird coincidence that as the decade of decadence came to a close, so did the company whose guitars pretty much embodied the time period with its outrageous paint jobs and triple humbucking guitars. The company was later bought out of bankruptcy by Gibson Guitars, who still owns the brand and its trademarks today. As we covered in the episodes about Richie's signature Stratocasters, Fender Musical Instruments started courting the Jersey rocker in the early 1990s. Then for the next decade plus gave us several iterations of the Richie Sambora Signature Stratocasters. And you can watch those episodes here or in the links below. Then in 2020, Gibson announced a major relaunch of the iconic 80s brand, bringing back models like the Pacer in its suitably flashy orange tiger stripe paint job, the single humbucker Beretta, and a reissue of Richie's signature model, now named the Jersey Star because Richie isn't currently a Gibson or Kramer endorser. And that's why they replaced the RS on the truss rod cover, which stood for Richie Sambora, with the JS. And if you're gonna reissue an 80s signature guitar, it might as well be this beast of an instrument. Like I said, this isn't my guitar, but there is a fun story about how I got to use it for this video. I've been covering the NAMM show for a few years for a media outlet here in Southern California. So I was going to the Gibson NAMM Jam a couple of years in a row. And since a buddy of mine works at Gibson, I got to make friends with some of the brass there. Like, we're not homies or anything, but we are industry colleagues. So when I started doing this show, I kind of rang up my buddy and was like, hey man, so can I borrow a guitar for an episode? And he was like, yeah, just drive over and pick it up. And I was like, so I can do that? I can do that. Okay, cool. I will be seeing you a lot then. So I've been playing this for a week or so, and I dig it. I mean, every time I pick it up, I have an uncomfortable urge to break out in dive bombs, but other than that, it's a pretty solid rocker. There it is, the story behind the strings of the Kramer Jersey Star reissue. What do you think about these 80s rockers? Which Kramer was your favorite? The Beretta, the Pacer, or something else? Let me know in the comments below. Remember to like the episode, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel because we're still trying to hit 5,000 subscribers. And when we do, I'm giving one of you that Sterling by Music Man AX20 that I featured on an episode in February. To win it, just subscribe to the channel, leave a comment on any of these full episodes. Once we hit 5,000 subscribers, I'll pick a winner at random from one of those comments. Also, you have to live in the continental United States. Again, sorry to my international subscribers. If you want to further support the show, you can go over to Patreon and become a roadie, a guitar tech, or a hired gun. You'll get shout-outs and cool swag and free tickets to one of my comedy shows if I'm playing in your town. Speaking of which, my stand-up comedy dates are on my website at thomtran.com, and you can grab one of my custom tees or tank tops, except this one. This isn't one of mine. I don't know where I got this from. Follow me at all the usual places like Facebook, Instagram, Threads, and TikTok. Links to everything are in the show notes. Thanks again for watching, and let the strings tell your story.